some of the debts, as well as any opportunity cost involved. Now, for the amount that was misappropriated of 3 billion ringgit, I've instructed the management of TRXC, represented here by its CEO, Dato Haji Asma Talib, and the Chief Operating Officer, Tan Hua Ming, to lodge a report with the investigative panel of 1NDB and the police on the amount that has been misappropriated. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Can you explain how 1NDB actually misappropriated the how?
Because the money is not there. The money is not there for the development of the project.
And who authorized such transactions?
I think that one is very clear who authorized the project. We will let the investigative panel handle it, because I think this involves individuals. I think we should let the investigative panel handle that. And the present CEO is, were you a CEO then at that time? I think you will be able to answer who actually instructed the money to be used. That's why he would play a very important role in order to report what actually happened. So let the investigative panel handle that. Okay, any other questions?
What about the signature tower? Is there any MOF have pulled some stake in signature tower? So how does it change? Is it still status quo?
No, this is part of it, entire project, including the signature tower.
No, there are concerns about MOF buying back the 51% in the Mulia Tower. So
no, I say this is part, the funds is part of the completion of the signature tower.
So it will be 50 plus MOF, 49 plus Mulia Group.
If the Mulia Group does not repay the amount that we have invested, I think there are clauses in the agreement where they will have to let us own the entire building. So according to the agreement, they have to pay within a certain period and give us an additional 100 million. If they pay a year later, they will give us 200 million. If they pay after that, the whole building belongs to NOF. So I think we look at the agreement. I think it's all stated in the agreement. So we are bound by the agreement. And that is why, as I said, the compensation amount comes up to 3.51 billion if we terminate the contract. Excuse me. I think it's a medicine. Yeah.
Maybe this additional 2.8 billion, will it be released in tranches, and how long will it be the progress?
You're talking about which one?
The additional government.
2.8, not 3.5. 2.8. Okay, right. The 2.8 will be, of course, up to 2024. So it will not be immediately 2.8. I think this year you're looking at what? 344. But again, we want to do some value engineering, so that at least we can see how much we can reduce the cost. So whilst this project is a classic example of how 1NDB has used it to pay off its debts, not related to this project. At the same time, we have not maximized the value of a prime land in the center of KL. And for that reason, we lost 3 billion, of course, which would have been derived to benefit not only the Ministry of Finance, but also the people of Malaysia. Can I talk about TRX first? Do it TRX first, yes. No, actually it's all related, all connected. I want to talk about TRX. Because, once when TRX can be completed, I think you will be able to generate more confidence. That first we want to reassure the investors, foreign and local investors, that TRX continues. Yes, we are not happy about the project, but we cannot bear to see an eyesore of a massive abandoned project in the heart of KL. So we finished that project, and of course that will be also connected to Bandar Malaysia, because this is sort of a package deal. But I want to deal with TRX today. Okay, so let's take it step by step. Yes?
3 billion, you said has misappropriated from.
Yeah.
So when's the destination of this 3 billion?
I already indicated that it's used to pay off its debts. But I said we prefer that this be dealt with by the police and the investigative panel. Excuse me.
Hi, the previous government has promised fiscal incentives for this TRX project, so things like tax rate for companies relocating there. Is that going to be?
No, I'm focused on how we can ensure fiscal discipline, how can we ensure that we don't have an abandoned project, how we can ensure that this project continues and can be completed at a lower cost. So some of the benefits, for example, is already academic. No GST, for instance, it's academic. So we will observe what was agreed to in a contract. You must remember, let me finish first. You must remember that we have foreign investors, land lease. We have prominent companies like HSBC. We have companies like Prudential, all buying land there to build their main buildings. And there is a lot of foreign interest and foreign investment there. So this will have wide ramifications if it is not completed. So in that respect, we want to make sure that the investors, whether local and foreign, are reassured that their investments will not just disappear or will not be written off, that we will continue. And to make sure, of course, number one, starting from the signature tower and followed by all the necessary infrastructure works, ancillary, and of course, necessary for the TRX to be a viable business enclave.
When you say value engineering, does that mean renegotiation of contract?
You know what's value engineering, lah? I think you know what's value engineering, isn't it? Where we're not renegotiating the contract as such. We are looking at the value of work done within the existing contract to make sure that we get value for money. Because we do not want to have any crony type of relationship between the contractors or between those who are monitoring the contract. There should be no abang-adik type of association. So make sure that the interest of the country is protected. We can get the best price and best value of our funds injection. Saya ingat hampir siap, tapi saya dapat berapa peratus? No, TRX, the building, the signature building.
Signature, from what I understand, is about 90%. Signature tower.
Ya, 90% lah. Dia cakap 92, saya cakap 90 lah. Okay? Dia nak... Ha? Takkan tak tahu you orang KL? The lady behind?
Yes, for the Exchange 106, right, how much did MOF inject to pay to get the 51% stake?
Come again?
How much did MOF pay to get the
I think we have said before that we have come up with 3.7. We have with the whole, the entire TRX project, we have come up with 3.7. Of unfortunately, has been misappropriated. So we are putting it another 2.8. So that would come up to 6.5, the amount of funds injection.
But for 106 itself, the 51%, how much was it?
You want to break it down? You want to break it down about infra and what was this? Can we just put in total?
Just to purchase the 51% stake, how much did MOF spend?
No, I think it is not so much as the price was at time one. It was a purchase for a 51% stake to complete the building. So, according to the agreement, Mulia will have to refund the money within, I think, 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. Then they have to give us 100 million. If they need it another year, they have to give us another 200 million. If they still cannot pay, then the whole building will revert back to MOF. Okay? Right. Anything else? Last question. Yes? Come again, louder.
Is government bailout the last resort? Can TRX source its funding, further funding?
With its association with one NUB is a bit difficult. I'm sure that, and also they want to see a commitment from the federal government, principally because they are foreign investors, they are local investors. There are companies that I mentioned earlier, not just Mulia, HSBC, Afin Bank, Lembaga Tabung Haji, WCT, Lendlease, and IJM, where Prudential will be building their main structure. So this is a project necessary to instill confidence that we want to see the project completed. After all, it's already 90%, 92% finished. If you don't do the remaining 8%, as well as put in the other necessary infra works, I think it will be quite a waste. Why don't we see the project being completed first? I want to see step by step, because by the time you finish 2024, I don't know whether I'll be around or not. So we're looking at up to 2024. So I think let's wait until then. And as I said, this is our options, our choices of options has been taken away from us. For us is how to do damage control and how to avoid paying the highest cost. 3 billion gone, misappropriated by on NDB. And on the other hand, if we terminate now, we want to cut loss, we have to pay 3.5 billion. So what choice do we have? Finally, at the end of the day, we chose putting in 2.8 billion to avoid paying 3.5 billion. 3.5 billion compensation, and at the same time, we have a prospect, a bright prospect, when the project is completed, to fully realize its value of 7.6 billion, which would allow us not only to recoup everything we have put in, but also all the opportunity costs involved.
Why we name the state Tun Razak stay the same?
Saya kan buat masa kini, bagi pandangan saya lah, nama dia Tun Razak, bukan Najib Razak. So ini melainkan Tun ada pandangan lain lah. So ini saya rasa kena tunggu pandangan Tun. Baik.
So just to clarify, because some of the incentives promised, for example, is like
Why don't you look at the, you are missing the woods from the trees, if you forgive the expression. The main thing is, now we have expressed our commitment, because before then, there were some articles saying that this project will be abandoned. Now I'm telling you the good news. The project will continue, we are injecting 2.8 billion. And then that should be the main focus. As far as the other incentives promised, we look at the agreement. You finally have to revert back to the agreement. And as I said just now, some of them like no GST. It's academic, because there's no GST anyway. Okay? Next question. Yes.
I want to ask something else on OPEC. The OPEC countries are meeting tomorrow in Vienna. Are you able to comment at all about Malaysia's stance on increasing oil production?
No, I think this is, of course, something that you have to deal with, especially with the looming trade war between America and China. And you know that the Chinese have imposed tariffs on petroleum products imported from US. So I can look at it from that context. So it's a very complicated situation, not only geographically, but also demand and supply conditions in the oil market. So I think I would not like to preempt what the meeting would decide. That's all I have to say at the moment.
Will Malaysia be there?
Yes.
After yesterday's reduction in broad time prices, are there going to be other types of reviews to help reduce prices by the government?
Are we going to talk about this, or you have now reverted, or you are now diverted to other questions? because this issue is about TRX. So can we focus on this? Because if you have no questions on this anymore, don't go and ask me another question later, because you make me very confused, jumping from one topic to the other. Boleh tak? Ya. Sekali lagi. Dua pemaju kita bergantung kepada, kita bersandarkan kepada surat perjanjian yang kita tanda tangani dengan mulia. So tentulah kita terikat sedemikian. Dan mereka pun telah siapkan 90%. So yang penting ialah kita nak pastikan kosnya munasabah, bersepadan dengan nilai barangan yang telah digunakan, dan juga bahawa mutunya, kualitinya adalah bertaraf antarabangsa. Kita tak mahu sesuatu projek bila kita terima adalah bukanlah taraf dunia pertama. So itu yang kita hendak pastikan. Okey, ada apa-apa lagi? No, can I talk about this first? Anything else? Cukup saya rasa saya pun telah keluarkan kenyataan tentang RON 95. So I think it is stabilized at 220 per litre. So there's no float, there's no market float of RON 95 and diesel also, only RON 97. I think for both diesel and for this RON 95, we have estimated a subsidy payment of around 3 billion ringgit. Now that amount could be less depending on the, of course, on the oil prices. But I think we do not want to give a figure because that fluctuates week by week. So why don't we wait until the end of the year? So at least you got a definite figure. But as I said, in our projections, we have estimated around 3 billion.
This is up to for 6 months or for a year?
No, at the end of this year. Excuse me.
Is there a possibility of the RON 95 to be lower? Kalau ada left some allocation tambahan atau kelebihan?
No, seperti yang Tun cakap, sekarang harga minyak naik, you nak kita turun lagi. So itu agak sukar sikit lah. Yang kita sebut sekarang ialah semua pun harga minyak naik melambung tinggi. Kita terus akan kekalkan harga 95 dan diesel pada kadar RM2.20 dan RM2.18. Ini kerajaan persekutuan subsidi yang tidak diberikan subsidi oleh kerajaan dulu. Tapi RON 97 lain. Ini untuk kereta yang lebih canggih, lebih mewah, lebih mahal sikit. So itu tak jadi masalah saya rasa bila ia diapungkan. Bila ia diapungkan. Okey? Saya rasa sudahlah. So selamat kembali daripada cuti raya kepada semua. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Sampai raya.